Hey there, Isadora. So let's have a quick look through your new tasks. I've never seen these ones before, so it might take me a little bit longer. So the provided pie charts represent the percentage of online sales of 4 different retail sectors. Electronics and appliances, food and drinks, home furnishings, and video games. Because we've got all of these ands, we want to make sure that it doesn't just look like this is another one. So we need to use the Oxford comma here, just to make it clear. Generally speaking, food and beverages and video games. Now, we already know these are online retail sectors, so we don't need to say it again. While online sales of electronics see, now my thing with this is that you're varying your language, but for the names of groups we need to refer specifically to them. So let's not do this. Let's just stick it to appliances and home furnishings, because we might confuse people. So while online sales of electronics and appliances and home furnishings dropped. Looking at the detail, electronics and appliances, we can just refer to them as sectors like this, and we don't say biggest, remember, we say largest. Looking at the detail, electronics and appliances had the largest proportion of sales in 2005, 35%. However, they sold 5% less in 2010, 30%. This is difficult because it's not 5% less. 5% less than 35% is... well, it's half of 3.5%, which is 1.75%. So this would be, if it was 5% less, it would actually be 33.25%. You would have to say, so here, this is essentially what you've done. By saying that they sold 5% less, you've described a percentage decrease, which can get tricky. Whereas here, it's just a reduction in sales. We could say they sold less by 5 percentage points, or 5 percentile. Or you could just say was reduced from 35% to 30% of total sales for these sectors. Similarly, home furnishings experienced, no big. But again, a significant fall of 10% is different from going from 1 percentage point to another percentage point. So bear in mind the difference between a percentage decrease and a difference in overall proportion. A significant fall in sales as well. In terms of food and drink sales, They accounted for less than a quarter of the total of sales in 2005. Nevertheless, they grew from 22% in 2005 to 32%. This is good. This is correct. Finally, although video games were less popular in 2005, with 18% of the sales, their sales rose by 5%. You could just say rose to 23% of the total in 2010. So we don't need to repeat the fact that they're online shops. We can just refer to the sectors, the groups themselves. Electronics and appliances had the largest proportion of sales. In terms of food and drink sales, this would be much easier to read. And also, don't try to vary your language when referring to groups in the graph. And bear in mind the difference between a percentage decrease and a difference in percentage. So if we take this as an example for me to explain the differences. So we have 130 people one week go to buy a video game. The next week, 30% of those people return the game. The next week, a further 10% of those people, of these people, go to return the game. So these are the numbers of people that return the game. So by what you've said, in week 2, there were 20% fewer people returning the game, because you've just done 30 minus 10, 20% fewer people returning the game. But that only works if we're taking 20% of the original number. But if you're saying 20% fewer people, then you're taking 20% of this number. If you're comparing one number to the previous number by saying it's 20% less than the previous number, then we would have to take 20% of this, which is 6.6. So it doesn't quite work. If we said in week 2 there were fewer people returning the game by 20% of the original number, which obviously is too long. So we have to be careful when we're talking about reductions in percentages, because we need to know what we're applying the percentage to. Just ask yourself, 20% of what? Or, in your case, 5% of what? But that's enough mathematics lecturing from me. I'm not sure if I was in any way clear. Let's have a look at your second task. So, motorways help people travel quickly and cover long distances, but they also cause problems. Okay, problems and solutions of motorways. Easy question, right? So, the issue of whether highways benefit drivers who can travel long distance quickly is controversial. Personally, I believe there are many drawbacks to be considered, such as extremely high number of traffic accidents and expensive road toll fees. Okay, so I can see an issue here already, is these paragraphs look really, really long. So what we should do, well, what I prefer to do, we can do it either way. We can do problem solution, but it's much more, it's much tidier to do problem solution, because then we can discuss the problems fully and we can discuss the solutions fully. Let's have a look. It is well known that the rate of vehicle accidents increased dramatically after the creation of motorways. Fine, I agree. This is mostly due to the constant driving at high speed and the possible lack of rest on long journeys. Okay, good. For example, data from the General Direction of Traffic in Spain. General Direction? Do you mean General Director or General Directorate? The General Director would be the person, and the General Directorate would be the group that directs. Okay, so I've just looked it up, and it's actually the Directorate General of Traffic in Spain. That's the name. You will not be penalised for this sort of thing in the exam, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I am a proofreader. I'm actually going to Barcelona on Monday. I used to live there, and I'm going to see my friend for a week on Monday. And I've just noticed, or I've just read this week, that that Madrid has been raiding Catalan government offices to prevent the vote happening next week. But so that should be interesting. But anyway, enough stories. Published that 1 out of every 20 drivers had an accident commuting to work due to their high driving speed. In addition, it is well known that many drivers have been involved in vehicle crashes because of their fatigue arising from long-distance trips. This is due to the fact that they were They were unaware of their physical and mental They were unaware of their poor physical and mental condition. In this vein, viable solutions exist for these problems. To begin with, more severe penalties should be imposed. See, now this is what I mean. I think we should have the solutions in the next. I think we should have problems together, solutions together. But I'll correct it in this manner anyway. More severe penalties should be imposed. We impose penalties on all 4 things. I would say in this case it should be 4. More severe penalties should be imposed for those who exceed the speed limit. The collocation for this is the speed limit. Furthermore, noisy alerts can be installed in new cars. I would say... Audible alerts can be installed in new cars in order to warn drivers to stop and rest on long journeys. Good, fine. Another important problem is the expensive fee of toll roads. Too many words that mean the same thing here, one sec. The expensive tolls often implemented on highways. This is because many motorways are managed by private companies and they usually establish road toll costs. For instance, a study conducted by the European Road Network published that these fees, a fee and a toll is the same thing. A toll road means a road that has a fee. These fees have increased by 40% over the last 5 years. Therefore, government should control the price. Government should control these prices by establishing a maximum affordable value. Even more, public money could be invested in the construction of new motorways in order to avoid social inequality between those who can pay the fees and those who cannot. To conclude, the creation of highways has many advantages, such as reduced travel time, efficiency of route or directness of route. I'm talking about the fact that these roads go long distances in a straight line. So it's really, really efficient because you're not taking this road here and then going left and going right and going left and going right. However, there are also drawbacks to be considered, such as the increase of vehicle accidents and the presence of expensive toll taxes. I'll allow that one. But so you've improved considerably. Actually, your writing is far, far clearer than the last time I marked a piece of your work. but I would say that at the moment you might be writing a bit too much. Let's just have a see. Yeah, that's a huge number of words. We should be sticking to around 280. So here you've written 60 too many. That's like a whole paragraph. Well, a small paragraph. But yeah, try to stick to under 300, and this will help you to spend more time on the sentences that you're constructing. If you're writing under 300 words, it means your sentences are probably very precise. And that's what we're aiming for, precision and accuracy. We don't need to write a lot, we need to write well. But I will send these over to you now. You've got another couple to do, so I'll look forward to those. I'll speak to you very soon. Bye bye for now, pal.